Hey everybody, welcome to Denvernomics 2026. For my people who are just starting this year to watch me, sorry for the repeat for all the people that have been watching me over all the years. I really started this because it was January of 2007 when I called my friends, my clients. I let them know that we were going to be going into an economic slump and that we were going to be losing values in our homes. And that was about 6 months before the Wolves of Wall Street did. Then of course we came into the 2008, 2009, 2010, and that whole depression that occurred through basically bad lending practices and zero regulation on the lending. And so what I've done is every year I do at least one of these, and I explain to people what's happening and why it's happening and what they should see in the future. And so here we go. Here's Denvernomics 2026. Let's start with the first slide. So if I zoom out from the daily headlines, I think the world is being shaped by 5 major forces. These are the themes that I'd like to focus on with the Denvernomics presentation today. Number 1 is the world is becoming less stable geopolitically. The period from 1990 to 2020 was very peaceful. It was highly globalized. And today we're starting to see the opposite. We're becoming more nationalistic. Major flashpoints include continued instability in the Middle East, with energy markets remaining sensitive to renewed conflict. I mean, we see that at the pump, right, with gas. Strategic competition between the US and China over technology, trade, and military influence. Ongoing conflicts and regional tensions that are encouraging countries to spend more on defense and secure their own supply chains. We're really seeing that with the Strait of Hormuz. The result is a world that's becoming more regional and less global. Countries are increasingly prioritizing resilience over efficiency. So number 2, if I had to pick one long-term trend that will define the next 20 years, it's definitely AI, right? It's changed all of us greatly. That means basically AI is increasing productivity. Whether or not you like it or not, we're able to do more with AI. It is going to disrupt a lot of white-collar professions. Massive investment in data centers, semiconductors, electricity generations, and fiber infrastructure are all going to be part of this AI boom. Just as the internet created trillion-dollar companies, AI is creating another investment cycle that is going to last years. Energy is becoming strategically important again. We were all told to go buy electric vehicles, but America doesn't have the electric grid. It's silly. We need to actually support gas. We need to support coal. Just all of our energies that we can use, solar, that aren't harming the land. Which, I mean, wind is terrible, but I really think nuclear is going to be the way to go. Small nuclear reactors throughout our country. So we'll see continued growth in renewables, increased natural gas production, expansion of electrical grids, huge demand for electricity driven by AI computing. Super interesting, right? So we've got a huge semiconductor company moving to New York. And I was shocked that they were moving to New York because New York has really high taxes and it's just not very business friendly. But they're doing it because they have fresh, clean water and lots of it, and they can create energy from that. So that's Micron. So, ironically, even as renewable energy grows, fossil fuels remain essential because reliable baseload power is difficult to replace quickly. So demographics are changing everywhere. And this is, one of the things that's coming with like the 2030 recession and things like that. So many developed countries now have lower birth rates, aging populations, fewer workers supporting more retirees. This affects labor shortages, immigration policy, healthcare spending, housing demand, and economic growth. The United States is a little bit in a stronger position than a lot of developed nations because of our relatively younger population and immigration. While countries such as Japan, South Korea, a lot of Europe and China face steeper demographic headwinds in a big way. So what does this mean economically? Despite concerns, the global economy has remained more resilient than many expected. The latest outlook projects global growth around 3% this year, with inflation still elevated due to higher energy costs and geopolitical tensions, while AI-related investments continues to support economic activity. So what does this mean for Denver? I mean, I love Denver. I've been in Denver, 30 plus years. And so, Denver has several long-term trends, which is super important. We have a highly educated workforce. Growth in aerospace, defense, healthcare, and technology is doing quite well. We're actually the second largest for aerospace. We have a very desirable lifestyle. Like, guys, I lived all over the world. There's nothing like Colorado. We don't have bugs. We don't have humidity. We have clean water. And all of that's going to continue to attract residents over the long run. We also have limited land available. I mean, 70% of our land is actually owned by the government, and it's not going to be released. And so that creates a smaller availability to create new housing. You're going to just see it more east, so be careful if you're buying east, unless you're going to be there for a long time, because you're going to continue to compete with builders. And so, the limited land is going to support long-term home values. So sorry, guys out there who haven't bought yet. So this doesn't mean every year is going to be easy. I mean, it's been rough for 4 years. So higher interest rates and affordability challenges have cooled activity. But over a 10 to 20 year horizon, many of the structural factors that made the Denver metro area attractive remain in place. So my big picture takeaway, if I had to summarize the world in one sentence, it would be we're transitioning from an era defined by globalization and low interest rates to one defined by AI, strategic competition among nations, energy security, and the need to build more resilient economies. The transition creates uncertainty in the short term, but it also creates a lot of opportunity for people who understand the underlying trends instead of reacting to daily headlines. Basically, turn off your news feed. So let's just talk actual numbers. So I love the U-Haul Growth Index. This is real time, so this is what happened in 2025. We're seeing, and why this is important is when people move, they get trucks to move to whatever state they're going to move to. And so these are the top cities gaining residents. Do you notice anything? Look at the states. Florida took 8 out of 10 for top cities gaining residents. What does Florida have? No income tax. We're at about, I think we're right at about 4.5% here in Colorado, so no income state tax. There are these even floating no property tax in Florida, which would be pretty amazing if they can do it. So this is where they're gaining residents. So major metropolitan areas, Dallas, Fort Worth, you're seeing companies move there like crazy. It's just so much more business friendly. California is losing people left and right. They're moving to Texas. Houston's number 2, Austin's number 3, that's my alma mater. Number 4, Charlotte. Number 5, Phoenix. Number 6, Nashville, Charleston, Raleigh, Atlanta, and Brownsville. So these are the top populations where they're moving and growing into larger cities. So now we go into states seeing the largest net outflow. So where are there one-way U-Haul customers getting trucks and just leaving? California, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts. So what's the broader pattern here? There's several common characteristics among the fastest growing destinations. They have lower taxes or no state income tax, especially Texas and Florida. They have more affordable housing than a lot of the coastal markets. They have strong job growth, they have warmer weather climates, and they have business-friendly regulatory environments. Colorado's not bad, we're not great. I mean, we could be a lot better. We could be a lot more friendly to businesses that create jobs, and jobs are good. We want jobs. We want to be able to, pay our rent and our mortgage and go out and have a life. So Colorado, we did just finish outside the top 10 growth states. But improved, and we did improve our position. So a year before, we were bad. So we have gotten a little bit better. So we are getting continued inbound migration. It's just at a slower rate than the Sun Belt leaders. So Americans continue to vote with their feet.
Migration is concentrating in states with strong job markets, relatively low housing costs, and business-friendly policies. Denver is no longer the runaway destination it was from 2012 to 2021, but Colorado remains attractive and has stabilized over the post-pandemic slowdown. So now we're going to get into basically, Denver metro area and what's happening with homes and what's happening with condos. It's interesting to see what is selling and what is not selling. I'm always surprised at what goes, quickly and what sits on the market. It doesn't make as much sense. The market slowed down in basically 2022 to 2023 when interest rates spiked. So inventory is down for homes and slightly up for condos. Home prices are stable. If you look up their average sale price from 1971 to 2014, price growth averaged 6% per year. So more recently, prices grew an average of 7.4% annually from 2014 to 2022. Then prices were flat in 2023. And as 2024 closed out, home prices continued to remain stable. But condo prices have been contracting, and that is because of HOA fee increases. And that basically happened because of insurance and taxes. I mean, they pretty much doubled our taxes in Colorado just a couple of years ago. So that's definitely hurting the HOAs, and our insurance is hurting the HOAs. Everybody's always getting a new roof. So if you look at the average sale price, that first square, that's quarter over quarter from 2024 to 2025. So you see homes from first quarter 2025 versus 2024 up 2%, condos down 6%. Second quarter flat, but condos down 6%. Third quarter flat for homes, condos down 5%. Fourth quarter up 1%, condos down 3%. So one thing you have to realize about these numbers, though, are these are the homes that are actually selling. There's quite a few homes that are on the market that are not selling. And depending on when you bought them, if you bought them in 2023, it's probably pretty hard to sell them because interest rates have gone up so much. People need double the income to buy the exact same house they needed to buy in early 2022. So our under contract is a good leading indicator of closed sales volume. 2021 was a record year for sales. 2022 returned to historic sales level. And 2023 is when the interest rates increased and it basically caused a massive slowdown. So there are slightly fewer homes and condos under contract. The HOA fees have increased rates. First-time buyers are reluctant, and they have been slowing into condo sales. So number of solds, real estate was hit hard in COVID in 2020, but recovered just as quickly. 2021 was a volume record. I mean, I can tell you 2021, I sold $121 million worth of real estate. We've had a negative sales count growth the last 10 quarters since interest rates have gone up. And so markets are returning more to a normal pattern. Sales volume for homes is flat while condos continue to experience pullbacks. As far as inventory is up for condos and slightly down for homes compared to the same time last year. And that's basically because people put their home on the market, and if they're not getting sold, they're like, well, forget it. I'm not going to sell. I'm going to keep my 2 whatever interest rate, and I'll stay put or I'll rent it. And I'm seeing that across the board. So basically what's happening is people are not giving up their values in their homes. They're just choosing to take them off the market. Next slide. Historical context. So this is Denver Metro price appreciation. So the solid line are your homes, and your purple dashes are your condos. And so you can see from the depths of 2008 and 2009, I mean, we've gone up from, $250,000 to $750,000. And we've definitely flattened out in the home sector. Condos are down about 8%, and they haven't not increased as much. The thing about condos is condos are great for first-time home buyers because they're more affordable. You don't have as much to take care of. Condos are still going up. It's just it's kind of like the S&P, right? It's just hold and keep holding. So homes have appreciated 6.25% if you go all the way back from 1973 to now. So that's over 52 years. Around 1986, the desire of single-family homes started to increase. Interestingly, if you go back to the 70s, condos sold for just as much as homes. But the annual appreciation's been over 10%. It's not sustainable. So we do expect lower rates of appreciation over the next 3 to 5 years. And condos have definitely had a modest price correction. So far in 2026, homes have been stagnant as far as prices. It's really flat. We're going to talk about a log scale. So there's another way to look at long-term home price trends, right? A log scale spaces prices by percentage, not dollars. So a jump from 100K to 200K looks the same as 200K to 400K. That makes steady growth appear as a straight line, helping you spot real trends and see when prices briefly overshoot before normalizing. That's going to help you on the next graph to understand that, because this is your log scale, the straight line, and then the dark line is your homes. And so this is it's a lot easier to understand the trend. Right now at the very end there, we're below the log scale, which means it's a good time to buy. And you can actually see it in this slide with the red and green. So the red is overpriced, right? Versus the long-term trend. And the green is underpriced. So, we were underpriced from 2008 basically to 2018. And then during 2019 to 2022, we were a little bit overpriced, and now we're underpriced again. And we'll see how far down that goes over time. So tune in next year to Denvernomics. So when the homes markets become relatively expensive, the home correction tends to be either a several year of slow growth, wage increase faster than inflation, and buyer affordability catches up. Or B, the prices can drop rapidly to force a quick reset. That's what happened in 2008 and 2009. We dropped, it was interesting, Denver dropped 25% during that time. And Aurora dropped 40% during that time. So that's the reset. I don't think we're going to get a reset like this for many years. I think we're just going to have like a dip, and then people are kind of figuring out how to buy using more creative methods. So this is Denver home price trends on the log scale. It's easier to see the trend, see how it goes up and down. These are condos, so exactly what we were just looking at, but just on a condo level. So condos are they're a good buy right now, along with houses. And this is your condo market, the red and the green. So we were slightly overpriced for a little while, but by 2025, I mean, it's going down. But condos also have larger price swings just because they're cheaper, and they're great for first-time home buyers and investors. When the condo market becomes relatively expensive, the correction tends to be several years of slow growth, wage increase. Same exact thing as the houses. Green, red. Red is don't buy, green is buy, and we're going into the green cycle now. This is homes and condos, very similar, right? Like when you look at them with the log scale and what's going up and what's going down, it's all the same. Good time, bad time. So right now it's a good time to buy. Home affordability is a balance between price, rates, and wage growth. So especially if wage growth is faster than inflation. So rising incomes, which should outpace inflation, give buyers more purchasing power, helping to shrink the share of a paycheck that has to be toward a mortgage. The monthly payment to buy the typical home is expected to slip to 29.3% of median income. It's the first year below the 30% affordability threshold since 2022. So wage growth is actually, it's improving. And so, homes are actually getting more affordable because wage growth is improving. So inventory levels of homes and condos available for purchase finally started to increase in 2022. So, if you were back in like 2020, 2021 trying to buy a house, sometimes people would have to write multiple offers just to try to get something. I still think even if you bought back in 2021, it wasn't a bad decision. Look how low your interest rate mortgage is. After 30 years, you're going to own that. And it's really about your monthly payment. So, we're becoming and getting into more and more of a balanced market. And so, our inventory's up and, we don't have as many buyers for as many houses on the market. And so, buyers do have more control right now. And they do have more ability to control the price. The more unique your home is, the less ability they have, but the more basically generic and everybody has the exact same thing, buyers have more power there. So inventory levels declined at end of 2020, and 2021 saw the lowest inventory levels in history. Inventory grew in 2022 and 2023, and then the first quarter of 2024, inventory mirrored the same levels we saw in first quarter 2020 pre-COVID. Inventory has sharply increased in the past year, which is a great relief for buyers. But now it's interesting because I feel like buyers are like, I'm going to wait a few years, or I'm going to see. I really do believe that the people who are buying now are going to do really well, and they're not going to regret it. You can, when you're looking at this graph, so the green is 2023, and so, it goes up, goes down. The purple, this is inventory, and then your dots are just starting. So the purple line and then the dots, we're at the highest level of inventory right now. Let's see. So this was 2021 is the green. The blue dots are 2022. Your thicker blue dot there is average 2017 to 2019. So this is showings, active listings, and monthly homes and condos, 2017 to 2025. March jumped up to meet last year's numbers. Listing agents hope that this indicates an upward trend. It just means there are more showings right now, which is good. We have been through a really tight inventory from 1993 to 2000. Months of inventory in Q1 2022 ended at just 0.4%. Inventory is up from historical lows, but it is still a seller's market, which, if you're out there trying to sell your house and it's not selling, it probably doesn't feel like it's a seller's market. But it again depends on the product. And, what I'm really seeing out there is it's only cream puff properties that are moving, or homes that need like massive work. There's still lots of investors out there making things beautiful. And so, if you want to sell, you need to plan on how to sell. You need to think about the upgrades you need to make. And what upgrades can you do that are not going to be too expensive. So these are total number of homes sold. So go all the way down to the very bottom. 2025, we're at the lowest. Sales volume from 2020 to 2025, we're down 33%. So it's definitely more of a buyer's market. Look at the condos. This is percent of homes listing with concessions. It's almost at 65% needing concessions. And that's really coming down from 2-1 buy downs, 3-1 buy downs for buyers. The COVID boom has subsided, and Denver condo sales are below 2019 pre-COVID levels. So this was driven by increases in interest rates and HOA fees. And so you can see total number of condos sold, again, lowest level, that purple line. We're under 2,000. So we're down 47% in sales volume from 2020 to 2025. And then condos listing with concessions, we're right at the same about as 2024. So it's over 60%. So 3 times it's more common in 2025 to buy a condo with concessions than in 2020. So the value of concessions as a percentage of sales price has increased from about 0.7% during the seller-friendly 2021 market to around 1.7% in the buyer-friendly 2025 market. Not huge, but notable on concessions. All right, so this is a current market home. And so we break this out into square footage, and we go through number of sold listings, months of inventory, price change, months of inventory this time last year. So active listings, if you're under 1,025 square feet, there's 528 active listings as of April 2026. There were 2,936 sold listings, and months of inventory is at about 2.2. So price change is down 3.3%. And again, these are homes, not condos. Then we go from 1,025 square feet to 1,362 square feet. There were 624 homes. Listings sold 4,418. Months of inventory 1.6. When you see months of inventory, what does that mean to you? It means it's going to take 1.7 months, if no other listings, to go on the market for your home to sell. Number 3, 1,363 to 1,829. It's 1,031. So you see, as you get more square footage, it gets a little bit bigger until you hit the 2,382 square feet, and then it starts to go down a little bit. But months of inventory over last year, it's up about 2.3. That was our condo one. Condos are worse. We'll just put it that way. Denver Metro home days on the market quarterly. The dots are the rolling 12 months, and the purple solid line are days on market by sold month. So you can see in Q4 of 2023, it was up, then it went up again. Q4, it's Q1, we're flattening out, but still higher. I mean, we're over 40%. So, average marketing times have been increasing since basically the second quarter of 2022. Discount trends, luxury is to your right. So no condos or townhomes on this. And it's down about 2%. And the rolling for all single family homes is down about 1.5%. So as inventory increases, discounts will slowly increase. So to the surprise of most sellers, buyers usually will not make an offer on an overpriced house. I've had people say, I want to list it at this price. Why aren't people sending me offers? If you're $1 over what it's supposed to sell for, you are not going to get an offer. They'll just move on to the next house. And then, the house needs to be priced between 1% and 3% of final sales price to get any offer. So if you're not getting offers and you're not getting showings, it's time to reduce your price. Property performance by quarter. So close price to last list price. So the bottom 25% of homes sold at a discount of 2.4% or more. That means people are actually bringing money to closing. 25 to 50% basically is about 2.4% of list price. 50 to 75% sold at list price, and the top 25% sold at any premium. Same with condos though. Days on market, you've got the cheaper ones are going quicker, and then it basically increases as it gets more expensive. So the more expensive your home is, the longer it's going to take to sell. So Colorado has historically been a great place for real estate appreciation. This is a map of the United States. You can actually see the house prices since 1991 and what they've gone up. So like if you look at Colorado, we're at 569.4%. Montana, 583.8%. Utah, our neighbor there, 580.4%. But then, go to Illinois, Chicago, 177.4%. So the average national was 297.7% since 1991. And I mean, we're close to doubling that in Colorado, which really shows you Colorado's a great place for appreciation. People love living here. It's a really lovely place to live. An investment in Colorado real estate outperformed a typical stock and bond portfolio. So basically, if you were to invest $10,000 in 1991 in the S&P or $10,000 in real estate in Colorado, you were going to do better in your real estate in Colorado. So if you buy a home today versus next year, so this is for a first-time home buyer, so more than $400,000 in wealth creation in the next 10 years. So if you purchase now a $500,000 home and you put 5% down, your down payment's $25K at a rate of 6.75. And that's down a little bit since I've done this. It's probably about 6.5 right now. Amortization 30 years. Principal and interest payment's going to be $3,081. Your appreciation 5% year. Your simple ROI over 10 years is about 1,637%. So, owning real estate is still a good idea. We still don't have enough houses, even across America. I mean, we are still in a slump, and it's still from that 2008, 2009. Builders didn't build anything. And that's really where not building has created this increase in prices. This is research by the Federal Reserve. So net worth for homeowners is way higher than renters. So you can see the green line is a renter and a blue line is a homeowner. And I mean, look at the difference. So back in 2010, a homeowner on average had $181,600 more net worth than a renter. Now in 2022, the difference is $385,000 difference between renting and owning. So basically, homeowners accumulate 40 times more net worth than renters. So if you are renting, I would stop. You're gonna pay it once a month anyway. The difference is after 30 years of having a mortgage, you own that property instead of just paying rent out to somebody else. So thank you for coming and thank you for checking it out. Trying not to keep it too long. I still see more of a doom cycle in 2030. Things are going to change so rapidly, though. I don't really want to talk about it until I see more of what's happening in AI. We're going to see a lot of that occur. Every month I feel like it's growing more and more. And then also, what options are we going to have for creating energy to collect all of this energy that we need for the AI and for the data centers? So I keep thinking somebody's going to come up with something really brilliant, like taking salt water, or I don't know, or like getting smart about nuclear, which is really what I think we need to do. Anyway, if you're interested in selling or buying, I'd love to sit down and chat with you about options and just game plan. Always happy to buy you a cup of coffee. Have a great day.